Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson here again. We're going to continue our Teacher Time show. And unfortunately, I did not finish my previous show, The Observation. And I know it's observation time, and I'm going to give you some things in part two that'll really help you out. But if you haven't seen some of my other teacher time videos, check them out. They have some very good hints to help you through the school year. All right. I'm going to start this off again with the teacher observation tips. I know you'll be nervous like I was nervous when I was getting observed, but just remember, just do your best. Everybody makes mistakes because we're all human. But again, give it the chance to learn as an educator, because you want to grow in your craft, and nothing more excites an administrator when you're trying to do better. So keep that in mind. Here's our lesson plan for the pre-observational conference, and I talked about that before. There are the 9 questions. Our model of observation, we go under the Charlotte Danielson framework, and I've covered so far the yellow here, planning and preparation, domain 1. I'm continuing domain 2, the classroom environment. I'll be getting up to next week domain 3, instruction, but I will not be doing domain 4, because that is the reflection document. And I'll share with you a little later in time, but you need to know that your administrators will be grading you based on domains 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's get going, Dr. Rob. So domain 2, the classroom environment, continued. And here's what we'll be covering. The classroom environment, 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, and 2E. And there's a lot of stuff there, so I'll do my best, because I think I can wrap it up in this video. Okay. Here is the performance words that the administrators expect you or your students to activate in. So we went over that. And we did a few. I don't know if we did 2B. I thought it was 2A where we left off. But it's establishing a culture for learning. To be distinguished, students assume as much of the responsibility for establishing a culture for learning in the classroom by taking pride in their work, initiating improvement to their products, and holding work to the highest standard. Teachers demonstrate a passionate commitment to the subject. That's a lot for the student and the teacher. So you guys are both working together. I see me down there talking to some students that's about Math Prep 16, and we were talking because I wanted to make sure they know their parts, and we had a special thing going on between the two of these people right there. And I see another teacher dressed as a butcher, and he's teaching a math class in my favorite movie, Stand and Deliver, favorite math movie, Stand and Deliver. So if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. It has some real good things that he's done. And I even see him up here, and the class is around him while he's reading something. So that means he must have a good relationship with them, because they want to get close to him and find out what is he reading. Whereas this teacher up here has his head buried in the newspaper and could not care less. So a couple things you should know for 2B. The teacher communicates the importance of the content and the conviction that with hard work all students can master the material. So you got to convince them that you'll get it. Just hang in there. I know it's hard and difficult, but just hang in there and keep trying. That's why in my groups we have what's called encouragers. Everybody's an encourager, and they help each other understand the work. But that's for proficient. For distinguished level 4, the classroom culture is cognitively busy and the students are working like crazy. I remember Miss Pollock had to cover my class one day, and my instructions were show my movie for the students to learn because they had a new lesson they had to learn, and give them this handout, and they should be able to take it from there. And she not only saw my students go in action and teaching each other and helping each other understand what was on the handout I left out, and she just said, wow, nobody's asking her questions. She just looked and she went back and wrote a note to me as well as the principal, how she's never seen anything like that in her life. And she said Dr. Rob should be commended because all those students were working so hard and they were talking with each other, trying to figure out what's the right answer. So she said, wow. She said the class ran itself. She said she did not have to do anything. And I appreciate her giving me that feedback. The principal said, he said, hey, that's Dr. Rob. His classes run like that. So thank you, Miss Pollock, for that great compliment. So now we're on component 2C, managing the classroom procedures. So I just want to stress the distinguish and just one comment on the unsatisfactory teacher. So instructional time has to be maximized due to efficient and seamless classroom routines and procedures. You're getting your students to do things, but you don't want to waste any time. So you have to have them doing those things. Like I said, share the workload. You don't have to do it alone as you're the teacher. Get those students busy and get their routines to be well understood, because it may be even initiated by the students. So maybe they'll get somebody to help them give things out. Here's one comment I did want to make. Students not working with the teachers are not productively engaged. Now, students not working with the teacher are not productively engaged. So if a teacher is going to help out a student, you got to make sure that they're with you. And I mean with you, paying attention, focusing on what you're trying to say, because if not, it's just a waste of the class's time because you're trying to help that one person who doesn't want help. So don't waste your time. Students redirect classmates in small groups, not working directly with the teacher, to be more efficient in their work. So I like when my students take control of their group. I think I have a picture somewhere in one of the other movies where the student was teaching his group and the kids were working efficiently and not wasting time, because we don't have that much time. And a little bit more to see at the beginning of the lesson, role taking consumes much of the time and students are not working on anything. So try to get them to do something towards the lesson. I usually have a Wordle up where the students are looking and trying to figure out what's the math vocabulary word for the day. So proficient teachers, there's an established color-coded system indicating where materials should be stored. In my classroom, all the kids have baskets where they put their clipboard, scissors, and pencils, and glue sticks and all of that in their basket neatly. And I check that before I leave the room. And the students also check it, because if it's not neat, they know they'll lose 100 points for each basket that is not neat. So here's some teachers I see down there. And this guy was using his fingers to teach a student how to multiply with his fingers. So, Stand and Deliver, great movie. And I see Miss Matu for Math Prep 19. That's a nice movie we made in 2019. And I'm now going to component 2D, managing student behavior, which is really, really important for the teacher as well as the administrator. In order for students to be able to engage deeply with the content, the classroom environment must be orderly. You cannot have chaos and kids running around the room and talking while you're talking. You have to treat it like it's a business because you're here, and I tell them, I'm here to do math business. I'm not here to play basketball with you or anything like that. I'm here to teach you what you need to know for the state test. I'm not trying to be a dictator, but if I have to, I do put on that hat at times. So, some elements of 2D component is expectations. Make sure your expectations are clear. Monitor the student behavior. You have to know what everybody's doing at all times. So you gotta walk around and not just stay at your desk or sit at your desk. And I remember my old assistant principal of mathematics back in Brooklyn. He told the math teachers, I don't see how anybody can teach math sitting down. So that was one of his things that he looked for. If you were sitting down, he would make sure to comment that on your observation. So, and plus, if you're sitting down, then the kids know that you're sitting down. They can definitely take advantage because they know you're not around them. So, the best responses are those that address misbehavior early in the episode. And when you address that at the beginning, don't let it start from day one. You don't have to worry about in day 8. And I'm making a video, so there's a few other indicators you can check out. All right, still on 2D. Okay, a couple other pointers for the unsatisfactory teacher. Objects are flying through the air. People are throwing paper and all of that stuff. You gotta be on top of that. Don't let it get away. If you hear something, turn around and take a look. Basic teachers attempt to keep track of student behavior, but with no apparent system. I'm gonna show you the system later on. What I do to keep track of what students' behavior. And I think you'll like it. Because when I bring in my paperwork at one of those meetings of the parents, they're very impressed with what I got. But the distinguished teacher's response to a student misbehavior is sensitive to the individual's need and respects the student's dignity. They're not just going to start screaming at them in front of everybody because that's embarrassing. Nobody likes to be screamed at. So do it with dignity. Take them to the side. Talk to them after class. Tell them to just go outside and take a break. You'll be out there in a second. So those would be the ways I have done to deal with student behavior. And the teacher notices some students are talking among themselves and without a word moves nearer to them and the talking stops. Very good trick to know. All right, where am I? Component 2E, organizing physical space. So your desk have to be arranged so that everybody can have access and it's safe. Safe and accessibility are the two key things that they're looking at. Use the physical resources, including computer technology, by both teacher and students. What I do is when they give me the teacher cart of computers, I have it plugged in the back, and I have computer monitors at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, because we don't have computers for everybody. Well, now we do, so the kids would bring their own computer, but when we used to didn't have computers, I would allow my student computer monitors to plug them in and give them out. Because I wasn't carrying all that stuff. I got these nice, strong kids, and they would do that. So that was my system in doing it. Now that everybody has a computer, the only thing I need is just surge suppressors so they all can plug in from where they're at. And there's my Math Prep 18, good show to see. And a little more on 2E. So students that cannot see or hear what the teacher is writing or seeing on the board is not good because they won't be able to understand what's going on. So please make sure you arrange your desk and seating properly. The teacher makes effective use of the physical resources, including the computer. Students ask if they can shift the furniture to a better way of suiting the smaller group for work and discussion. I had my Espanol students tell me that can we move the desk in the shape of a U so you can talk to us and see us. So that was nice because we split up the room in half and it was hard to just go to one person. So I ended up listening to their comment, and definitely that's distinguished. I keep scores of the students' weekly and daily progress for my groups. So here's my period 2, and that's one score because there's only one group. That's the whole class. They got a score of 1,660, and they got 100 points on whatever day that was. So these are the weekly scores that are here, and here's the daily scores, what they got. Like somebody got a 400, period 4 got 400 points, and period 8, I noticed they got a 0. So when you get the highest amount of points for your class, I put a little asterisk, and the kids get prizes. They get to come to the room later on at the end of school and get some pizza, soda, cookies, Domino's cookies, blow pops, and all of that different kind of candies. We celebrate their winning for the week or the month. So I don't want to spend all my money, but it does get a little bit expensive if you try to do it every week. So I arranged just to give them some candy and $1 for the leader. So that way I don't have to buy pizza every week, but I do have a big celebration because we're keeping the scores. So usually at the end of the marking period or the end of the halfway point around the Christmas break, we celebrate to see which class or which 5 groups had the highest score, because I want to include all of my students. Okay, there's my Math Prep 22 movie, and the students are in their mask and they're playing against each other, and here's the explanation that I wrote about explain how students were productively engaged. Students worked together in small groups as teacher facilitated and worked with all groups and individuals. Student discovered the Wordle homework, vocabulary, and I also give it for classwork, term, and use buzzers. I have buzzers in my class, and let me talk a second about the buzzers, because I don't like them going off every few seconds. And I told them every time I hear a buzzer going off that when we're not using them, I'm going to take off 100 points for each time I hear it. And you believe they got the message real quick when I took off about 200-300 points from their score, and they realized don't play with the buzzers. So I have calculators, whiteboard, markers, I have a Promethean board and a smart board, and smart board software, and we use that to answer questions. They use their computers, responded to questions, group competed for points responding to questions throughout the lesson. I use different approaches, which I learn from my colleagues. I do intervisitations. I sit in, see what they're doing, what I can learn. I watch the teachingchannel.org and I'm managing And I read a book, Managing the Interactive Classroom by Kate Burke. I also took some webinars that the district offered, like Kami, Pear Deck, Google Meet, Google Docs for a classroom. I used the SIOP model for instruction in mathematics. Several of my students commented to me on seeing my videos and the Math Time cable show that I have in Peekskill. Well, it used to be only in Peekskill, but now it's in a few other places. So, which features staff and students working out related review problems during lunch periods or after school. So the kids actually came after school because they wanted to earn some points on their classwork grade. So uh, they were waiting for my 2023 math prep movie, but unfortunately I retired and I could not make it with them. So the last movie we made was Math Prep 22. Oh boy. Okay. Dr. Rob's group supplies. My class, I believe, firmly should have all the supplies that they need. And I do a lot of things with the supplies that would really surprise you or their parent. We always need calculators. I buy calculators. The Texas Instrument 30X solar powered XII solar powered calculator, and I give the pink ones to a girl and I'll give the blue ones to a boy. So I buy a bunch of them, and the kids really appreciate it, and I'm always asking them, where's your calculator? Where's your calculator? And I bought whiteboards so they could write their answers on them and do their scratch work. And I give them markers to use that stays in their basket. And there's their buzzers up there that they use. Each basket has a color on it, so each buzzer has that color. It corresponds to it. I have little erasers that are colored that go in the basket. They're colored to it. I have scissors as well. They're colored scissors, and they go with whatever color basket. That way I know right away whose stuff is in the wrong place. I also bought computers for the kids because sometimes a kid would forget his computer, so I bought some old computers, Chromebooks, and I had it set up in one particular spot, and that student or those students who needed to use it every period would have a computer to use. And I had pencils for them, but the pencils I told them will cost you 100 points each. And I have paper, and I said that'll also cost you 100 points each. So the kids knew they better bring their supplies because Dr. Rob would supply you, but it's going to cost. There's the little dollar I would get. I get $100 and keep a bunch of them in my pocket. And the leader would always get $1 at the end of the week for leading his group. And the other kids would have a choice of like Jolly Ranchers, Oreo cookies, Dum Dums, and all the Chips Ahoy I see down there. So I went to BJ's and bought that. Sometimes they would need a cough drop or a Band-Aid. I learned you should keep that yourself so that way the student doesn't have to leave the room and wander the halls. I had a 24 game club where we had the best student would get a $100 cash prize, and I even bought a Scantron so I can grade my tests faster. I even bought a colored printer, a color copier for my kids. That was the last thing I bought, so we could make our copies because we were having some challenges with the school's copier. I bought the smart response devices. There's the surge suppressor. I bought a bunch of those so the kids could plug in and did not have to move to the back of the room. I had tissues, movies, iTunes movies, and there's Stand and Deliver I see. And I'm trying to pattern myself after my social studies teacher who patterned himself after Mr. Cotter. So there's a lot of stuff. There's my smart board, my smart card, a VHC VHS player and a DVD player. So I bought all this stuff for my kids to have and use because I value um, technology and I want my kids to be well prepared for the world. So, the Roundup classroom environment, effective teachers organize their classes so that all students can learn. And it's got to be a respectful interaction between you and the students. Students' contributions to the effective functioning of the class by assisting and wrap it up, Robinson. I gotta wrap it up. Assisting with classroom procedures. So, again, I say share the load. The administrators love seeing students doing things like teachers are supposed to do. And I think this is it. Student behavior is consistent and appropriate, and the teacher's handling infractions is subtle, preventative, and respectful always to the student with dignity. I see there's Math Prep 22, and there's that scene of those the students reading with the teacher. Okay, I've come to the end of the part 2. I hope you enjoyed our movie, and hopefully I said something that might help you out. So watch us on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson, PKMS, Peekskill Middle School. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing, and subscribe to my channel. Check out PKMS Math Prep 21. And we are on Tuesdays on Cablevision, Optimum Cablevision at 6 p.m. to 6:30. Peekskill and Ossining, Channel 15, Yorktown, Channel 74, and New Rochelle, Channel 76. So, our Math Time show is back on the air on Tuesdays also, 4:30 to 5 p.m. on the same channels. So, write me if you want some more information. My email address is robinsonmath@aol.com. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this.